Hello, great ones. Welcome to the relaunching of my YouTube channel. I just completed season 1 during the whole pandemic of the Living Be Great podcast, and I am transferring all the episodes over to my YouTube so that my new YouTube audience gets a dose of what my content is about. Please like, share, and subscribe, and enjoy the show. Hello, great ones. Welcome to the Live and Be Great podcast. I'm your host, Latonya Sampson-McDonald. I am a life coach and a registered marriage and family therapist associate. And this podcast was created to motivate, educate, and inspire all to live and be great. On today's episode, I will be sharing part 2 of the conversation me and my husband were sharing about tools we are using to stay motivated and inspired as 2020 comes to an end. Happy New Year, by the way. And if you missed the previous episode, please go back and listen to the 16th episode before you listen to this one. Enjoy. So, I was minding my business, loving myself. At the time, I was in Atlanta and I was just doing some soul searching in the woods. It was a cabin trip, and I was basically, trying to figure out what my purpose was. Did I lose it? Why am I not going full force on the things I want in every aspect of my life? And, I heard from the higher power in that moment that it's time to go. So I made the decision to figure out where I'm going to go because I knew I needed a change in my life. And I just listened to my spirit. I talked to who I needed to talk to. All my friends did not know. It was only certain friends. And I was right about those certain friends that I knew to tell first. Those certain mentors that have taught me and supported me along the way. They were my support system that I used to get me to where I am. And, one of the things that you look at when you're a woman is I think men look at it too, but the whole marriage thing and kids thing. And I was just like, man, the majority of my friends are married and have kids, and I don't have that yet. And to me, my thought process was, now's the perfect time that I don't have that, commitment. I can commit to myself. And one of my best friends and my line sisters was just like, you know what? Whoever God has for you, they're going to be aligned with your journey. And whoever you're supposed to be with is not in Atlanta. They're going to be in California. So I took that with me. And when I got to California, I was just like, okay, I'm here. I'm by myself. Which I manifested just about everything that I said I was going to get there and do. I didn't even know that's what I was doing, but I figured out shortly after that that's what it was when I wrote out what I wanted to accomplish in a certain amount of time before I got to California. But I remember just telling God, okay, when you feel like I am ready to be somebody's wife, show me my husband. And that was in August, at the end of August. And by time October came around, My husband was on my doorstep. So, and the rest is history. But it didn't come until I put myself first and went after my dreams and my aspirations, and it wasn't based on anybody else's expectations but my own. So when we say minding your own business, it's like, man, I feel like it's the right way, and it'll help you trust yourself and trust your passion and your spirit and what the universe and God is trying to tell you about what you're supposed to be doing. So that's just a little bit um, of our journey together. You have something to add, darling?
I was just going to say, as far as minding your business is concerned, if you do the math and you think about how many hours a day you spend, if you don't work for yourself, you work for somebody else, you think about how many hours a day that you spend on the job being fully dedicated to someone else's business. You're minding their money, you're minding their company, whatever the situation is. You're on top of that. And a lot of times we sit there and spend that time, and then once we get home, we don't have any more energy. We don't have energy to give our families. We don't have energy to give our friends. Shoot, we don't even have energy to give the dog. The dog be looking like, can I get a walk? I've been here for like 15, 16 hours and ain't had no walk. The trees are looking kind of good from in here. And you just sitting there looking at them like, if I open the door, can you walk yourself? You know, it's not there. And if you don't have energy even to love and to share when you get home with your family, you surely don't have the energy to put forth into yourself. If all you want to do when you get home is go to sleep and then you wake up and you go right back to work, you're not giving yourself any time or setting yourself up to be able to have any type of energy to put forth into minding your affairs, into minding your business, your dreams, making sure your family is good. You may not even know what's going on with your son or your daughter because you've been so wiped out you didn't even notice. One of them done changed their hair, another one done cut their hair off. You got somebody ear pierced or something else. You come home and your kids are this whole different people because you don't know what's going on. You're not minding your business. Your bank accounts and things start looking funny. You got extra bills and stuff that you don't know that creeped up on you. Just a lot of different things happen when you're too tired and or frustrated, to be able to mind your business properly. So investing that time or setting yourself up, maybe working a few less hours so that you can have a few more hours of consciousness when you get home to be present. Being present in the moment is how we move forward. We can't just sit in limbo. We've got to be present in the moment and take hold of that moment in order to make the best of it, in order to make the next moment greater. When you're present in the moment and you take hold of it, as you move forward, you gain more momentum. You become more conscious. You're more aware. It actually will give you more energy for you to mind yourself, take care of yourself better. That's why there's an old saying, there's an old gospel song, as a matter of fact, that my mom used to play. It says, sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine. I used to think that was funny when I was a kid. I'm like, dang, them folks just saying you need to keep your head out their business and just do what you're supposed to do. But I didn't get that sweep around your own front door was about taking care of yourself first. Before you try to take care of anybody else, before you try to do anything else and set anybody else up for success, when you have no foundation. You're trying to build on sand and you don't even know it because you didn't have time to check. So, yeah, sweep around your own front door Mind your business first and foremost. Because it doesn't matter if you make somebody else $1 million and you come home and you've lost your house and your family. You've lost your connection with your wife, or your husband or girlfriend, whatever, significant other, partner, however it is that you roll. I ain't mad at nobody. Get down how you get down. But if you're going to do it right and do it all the way. Half stepping ain't going to do anything but hurt you in the end. So, that's all.
Um, to come back to the point about knowing who you are, I think this whole podcast, you know, you all can pretty much tell how much of a mental health advocate I am, and everything connects back to your mental health. You have to know which one you are. Some people can, work that 9 to 5 and strategize and say, okay, I'm going to make sure this amount of money goes to my dream. Especially if they only have one dream. Say if they're a writer and all they want to do is write, or whatever the case may be. Some people do have that. Like, after I get off at 5, strictly working on this script. Some people have that, and others, because of their mental health, it's like they go through this depression if they're not strictly doing what it is that their heart desires. You get frustrated, you feel uncomfortable, you dread waking up the next day, and that particularly is a sign that you should listen to when you're trying to figure out which one of those are you, and I know for a fact that I'm the one that everything I do has to be something that I'm passionate about. I used to, be the one to work an IT job and then go to dance practice and be at dance practice till midnight and have to wake up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and go to work. I used to, but the situations that I've been in, to where my life has been tested, to where I almost wasn't here anymore multiple times, I had to take that as signs that I cannot waste time. And that's just based on me. Some people can, not to knock the people that can, go ahead and do that 9 to 5 thing and be structured and still committed and still have that energy. But I just can't. And there's no shame in either one. You just have to know which one you are, and you'll know the signs. Like I said earlier, the how you feel in your body and in your spirit when you're getting up to go work for someone else, especially if it's in a field that you're not passionate about, especially then. And sometimes when you are in the field that you're passionate about and it's not what you expected, you don't feel appreciated for the work that you're doing, and you get there and it's not what you set out to do at all. Yes, please excuse the motorcycles in the back, but you guys are used to the noise in the background. It won't stop you getting this motivation. Okay? I stay true to that. But yeah, you have to know which one it is that you are and give yourself permission to listen to your whole entire being. Listen to your body, listen to your mind, listen to your spirit and how you feel. And if you don't see a representation of what you want to be out there, then go do it. Give yourself permission to create that space that you've always wanted. anything to add to that, darling?
Yeah. Um, your gut, everybody has something. Okay. Some people call it your gut feeling, your intuition, your the sight beyond sight. You want to go Thundercat style, um, but everybody has something deep within them, within their soul, within their spirit, that tells them what the truth is. And the thing about it is, you really don't even have to ask a lot of the time because you'll get the feeling will hit you literally in your stomach, in your chi, in your spirit before you can even go to process a thought, you know? And that's so important. It's so important to really listen, to really tune in. Like my wife said, you got to know who you are and know what you it's not so much just what you're capable of. I'm not going to lie. I'm one of those people that there are certain things that I will do. The best way to get me to do something is to say that I can't do it. I'll be afraid of heights and somebody tell me I can't skydive and my silly behind be in a darn squirrel suit out there trying to glide or something, knowing darn well I ain't got no business. You know what I'm saying? According to my fear. But it's going to get done just because you said that I couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But you really have to know who you are to be able to operate the way you need to operate. I remember being a paralegal, working in a law firm, and I'm making $30 per billable hour. And our billable hours were point 0.6. A point 0.6 is 6 minutes. Mm. So for every 6 minutes I was working on something, it's $30 an hour. Mm-hmm. So I had that. I had my own business that I was working on as well, a legal support business, was bonded. I had a degree and 6 certifications. And I would come home, I wouldn't even take my darn shoes off. I'd loosen up my tie, take off my jacket, because we wore suits every day in the office, and I'd just sit down with a glass of cognac or something, and I would sit there in the chair. It just wouldn't really say anything. I'd just be sitting there feeling dead. And yeah, I could afford my groceries and I could afford my food or whatever else. And we weren't dying for money. We weren't struggling like that. But after a while, I would wake up an hour to 2 hours before I was supposed to get up for work. And I would just start throwing up, thinking about going back to work. Because it bothered me so much that I felt like, okay, so this is it. This is what my life is going to be. I'm going to be in office, and then I'm just going to come and sit down in the house. Like I wasn't living fully to my purpose. I realized that I had stopped doing music. I had stopped getting into the studio. I had stopped writing music. I had stopped writing, period. Poetry, anything. And that's what's in my blood. It's in my body, it's in my soul. I got it from my family. It's just we're riddled with it. We love music. So I had to realize that no matter what else I did, I was still going to have to come back to the music. I was still going to have to come back to what I was passionate about, what I loved. Because if I wasn't serving that part of myself, if I wasn't feeding that part of my diet, for some reason, my spirit just wasn't going to grow. It wasn't going to be happy, And it left an unrest within me constantly that caused me to start, semi-lashing out. I started to get an attitude and didn't even know why I had the attitude. I was just, I was grumpy for no reason. But then as soon as it came to some music or a song came on or something else that I loved, then it changed my whole world. I lit up. My whole energy changed. And everything that I've done since then, it seems like it only goes so far unless I'm doing something that I really love and I'm passionate about. Doesn't matter how good I am at it, you know. It's it's still it's like my wife told me. My wife told me the other day, and now it's hard not to get frustrated when you hear certain things that are true. Okay, depending on the headspace that you're in. She told me it doesn't matter what job you work or what else that you try to do outside of what you're really meant to do. It's not going to last. And when she said that, I looked over, I'm like, did, did my wife just tell me that I ain't. What? Wait a minute. What do you mean it ain't going to last? I'm not getting fired or nothing. I'm not losing jobs. I'm not that cat. I'm a long term, keep working kind of dude. But the reason it hit me is because Soul knew when she said it that she was right. I felt like Mr. on The Color Purple when Miss Seeley said, everything you do gon' fall till you do right by me. That's basically what Soul was saying. It's whatever you do. And my wife picked up on it. She picked up on it, and I didn't even pick up on it because I was so busy going, well, I just do it like this and handle it like this, and then continue in this way. It's not going to be a problem, and that's the lie I was telling myself. And she just called it out just because she loves me and she's my wife. She said, screw your feelings. You need to know what's up. And she just hit me with it. And like I said, it was hard. It was hard to deal with. It was hard to hear. But I needed to hear it, and I needed to understand it in order for me to not continue to do what I would do otherwise. Because you get to a point, certain people get to a point where they just go, you know what, in order to make sure that my family is good, I'm willing to do whatever I got to do. And I'm thankful to do it. And it's all good. I can sacrifice myself. It's not about me. I put myself aside for my family and put aside my feelings and my goals or my aspirations and not be selfish. And I just need to do what I need to do for the family. And that is also a lie that you tell yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. So if you're neglecting yourself, you're denying yourself, and you're not even looking at yourself truly, you're not going to be able to move forward. You're not going to be able to prosper, and it's going to cause problems within your relationships, your friendships, everything else, because you are not going to be whole. You're not going to be a whole person. You're going to be a shell of a person walking around in a little person suit like you feel it. But you're going to have holes in it. It's going to be empty space. It's going to be slack. It's like when you're a kid and you're walking around in your dad's jacket and you're swimming in it. But it feels cool and you feel grown. That's, I got dad stuff on. I'm doing things. But you haven't grown into it. You haven't filled those spaces to be able to walk in that. You got to be whole on your journey. You got to become whole on your journey. You can't just keep going and going, and you got empty spaces inside of you. You got things you're not addressing. You got things that are eating you up inside that if I just keep my head forward and keep moving, I'll be okay. I know my leg is falling off, but it hasn't fallen off yet. So if I just keep moving forward, then maybe it'll get better. You're not walking off a gunshot. You know what I mean? You're not walking off cancer or necrotizing fasciitis, whatever the situation is. You got to address it or it is going to kill you. That's the way it works. Sometimes you got to take a little bit of pain in order to gain the truth, in order not to end up dying completely inside. And having somebody who's willing and loves you enough to be honest with you regardless, that's what's important. In my life now, I'd rather somebody hate me for the truth than to love me for a lie. I feel like that's how we have to move. We got to be able to take it on the chin when we need to, if it's the truth, so that we can move forward and we can become whole, instead of just marching in the wrong direction with pieces of us falling everywhere.
You know what's funny? Is sometimes I don't know if you really are listening to me. I don't know. But I'm happy to hear that you are.
I be trying to tell you that I'm listening to you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I listen intently. Just because I don't verbally say something or I don't react in a certain way to the information
Yes.
or respond in a way that your emotions would like
Mm-hmm.
or would be pleasing to you,
Yes, darling.
doesn't mean that I don't actually hear you. Ladies, I'm going to give you a tip
Oh, Lord. Okay.
that you don't know, more than likely.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of your husbands and boyfriends, they hear every word that you say. They just don't respond.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. You think we're sitting there playing PlayStation or something like that? No, we're listening to you. We are listening to every single word you say. But we can't respond. We can't like move a muscle or certain things because it could open up a conversation that possibly we don't know if we're ready to have at that time.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
All right.
It's not like we being disrespectful or anything like that. But sometimes there's conversations that you just don't have the energy for right then.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, yeah. Sometimes we don't want the smack down right then. Sometimes we need a rest.
You're a mess. But I love you.
I hope so, because I'm here.
Yes. You're here and you're awesome. And you're mine, sis. Yes. What?
Awesome sometimes, but yours all the time.
Awesome.
I'll agree. I'll agree on that end.
The time, darling. Yes. So I want to say thank you for joining me, my darling. I hope everybody has enjoyed this podcast, this 2-part episode. I appreciate you all for listening. And I'm going to let my husband close this series out. Go ahead, darling. Last words.
Close it with what? Where you want me to close it? Where you want me to go with it? What you want me to address before we go ahead and put a pin in this little soliloquy?
What you want to.
What I want to.
Mm-hmm.
Man. All I can say is love yourself more. Love yourself better. Do the best you can to be true to who you are. Because no matter how much you try to change for other people and keep up with other people and do what they're doing, at the end of the day, you can't fake with yourself. You know, you can portray things and play certain things outside, but it always comes down to the same thing. At the end of the day, when you're laying in bed and the lights are out, you have to deal with you. You got to deal with who you are. Just like when you wake up in the morning, you're brushing your teeth, you're washing your face, you're doing what you got to do. You got to look at yourself in the mirror. So put yourself in a situation and set a foundation for yourself as to where you love who you're looking at and you're not avoiding your own reflection. Love yourself and have confidence. Have faith. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in what you can accomplish. And love the people around you as much as you possibly can and help them. I know they drive you crazy. We all got family members and friends that we don't even know why. Lord knows we don't know why. We don't know why we chose them. We don't know why we brought them in sometime. They just act crazy. But they're there for a reason. You know? And if you chose to have them in your life and they've been placed there for you, love them. Love them as best you can. And be honest with them in the same way that you got to be honest with yourself. It's not going to serve anybody. Falsehood, that fake it till you make it, that's one of the worst things I think they could have said. Don't be somebody else. Be who you are.
The Live and Be Great podcast will be airing every other Friday. If you have truly enjoyed this podcast, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving Live and Be Great a chance. Please feel free to share, like, give a review, subscribe on whichever platform that you're listening to right now on iTunes or Apple Podcast, Spotify, Anchor, as well as Google Play. The Live and Be Great podcast is strictly crowdfunded, so if you are interested in becoming a supporter, you can click the link in the description, or you can go to liveandbegreat.com and scroll to the bottom and donate to the Live and Be Great podcast today, so I can continue to give you good and motivational content. Thank you all for listening, and don't forget to give yourself permission to live and be great. You made it to the end. Thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube channel, Live and Be Great. This channel will produce content that is both podcast and on-screen style. So if you're interested and you enjoyed today's show, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you soon.